Hi everyone, this is Carla, and this time I'm here to do a review on episode 14 of season 2 of Scorpion, which is titled Son of a Gun. And I will try to keep it short this time. I know that my reviews are freaking long because I ramble on too much, but this time I'm gonna try to keep it condensed, and that's basically going to be not too hard, I hope, simply because bottom line, I didn't like this episode, not really. I just I have problems with them like getting in and out of countries really easily. In this time I didn't have that problem particularly because they were invited, so I didn't mind too much. It's just the way they portray these places they go into. And I mean, it was such a stereotypical portrayal of an African country, um, in civil unrest. It's just such the typical idea that comes to mind to any of us in the West when we think of an African country is people dying of starvation, sun, desert, and a despot ruler, guerrilla ruler who just doesn't see that what he's doing to his people is bad. That's basically it. That's all the thought they gave it. And it kind of upsets me, honestly, because it's just so typical. That's the thing. They didn't even make an effort to even show a little bit more of the good side of Africa, maybe. This, guerrilla leader, warmonger person, whose name I can't even remember right now, he was so basic. He thought he was the best thing in the world. He was the biggest idiot alive. I mean, 203, really. And they had to suck up to him, to stop him from getting the weapons and using the weapons against the US. And that's another thing. It's okay, I know they're working with Homeland, so of course they're going to be dealing with these kinds of threats, but it does seem like they're perpetuating a bit this idea that the United States has to police the entire world. And yes, of course, the people in Africa need help, but they weren't really helping the people in Africa. They were just saving the US from this huge light weapon, basically, without even any proof that they were going to use it against the US. So, as not to get into politics here, but I don't like the fact that they just put so little thought into this episode. It would have been a little bit better to, I mean, I'm not saying don't go to Africa and don't, stop the crazy megalomaniac from using a gigantic weapon of mass destruction against anyone, not even just in the United States, but anyone. Sure, go ahead and do it, but just put a little bit more effort into it. Just try to give it layers. And I'm asking too much from this show. I probably know it because it's all about the action and all about the fun, and not necessarily about the content. But it struck me the wrong way. It just rubbed me wrong because you do this more and more often, and it starts feeling very offensive in a way. It stops being funny and it just starts being offensive, and I don't want the show to fall into that. So I would like to see them, give a little more thought to their plots and to where they're taking their characters, the actual places, and try to just put a little bit more of an effort into it. So yeah, I didn't like the episode. When I saw that it was going to be an episode about Sylvester and his dad, I was like, yes, because I love Sly-centric episodes. He's my favorite character, so every time he has to, deal with that in any way, I'm happy he gets an episode to shine. But even that wasn't all that great. I mean, I like that he made up with his dad, but it was really quick, barely even there. I mean, I hope they show some progression after this, because it can't just be like, oh, we're going to finally meet after 9 and I don't know how many days. 9 years and I don't know how many days, and You asked for forgiveness, I forgave you, and good, we're good. Really, it's not that easy, and it felt that easy, so that part kind of let me down. I was hoping for more. Also, no mention of Megan. Your son just got married and his wife died. Nobody's going to mention that, really. I like the dad, though. I would like to see him be recurring in the future, because I do think they can do more with this plot. I think Slide deserves more of a resolution than when he got this time around, so hopefully they will kind of keep this as a theme for him. If they don't, I'm gonna be disappointed, and I was slightly disappointed after today, really, because I was hoping for more from them. I did like, however, like the one part that really, there were two parts that really, actually three things that really made me laugh. First, it was, at one point, Walter goes, oh, I think what Happy just said made sense, and then Happy's like, everything I say makes sense. And I laughed so hard. I mean, I love Happy, she's so great, and I mean, they're all geniuses, so really, Walter, you could phrase that better. Then later on, when Ralph was tending to Toby, and he brings up the tablet, and it's like, the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, and it's just so funny, because he has the Acme card, and he's like, Wile E. Coyote, genius. I'm like, this is perfection. That was just, I laughed so much. And then, of course, any episode that gets to feature Catherine McPhee's singing is great in my book. Plus the added bonus of Paige dragging Walter to sing with her. That was just like, what, really? And at the beginning he was pretty bad, but he got better. So I like that. I also liked, in the end, that little moment with Happy and Toby and Ralph, and he's like, you're always arguing, so why are you doing this for him? And Happy's like, I'm falling for him, and Ralph is like, ew, and Happy's like, I know, right? I mean, that's so perfect. I like that, but the rest of the episode is just kind of forgettable to me. I almost want to put it out of my mind, because I don't want to keep thinking about the possibility that they might just be trying to portray African countries in a careless way just because they don't care about Africa. And not just Africa, I mean, any other country they've been to, it's been like a throwaway thing. So yeah, I didn't really like this episode. That's kind of the best way I can put it, really. It was forgettable. Few things made me laugh. Yeah, there were a couple moments, but for the most part, I just didn't really care about this episode and would like them to step it up in the future. I mean, nobody's asking you to give me, actual scientifically accurate, plot lines or anything. You can go and stretch science as far as you can, but just give it a little bit more thought. Make it layered, make it interesting, and don't just throw them out in the desert in California, because come on. And don't just throw them out in the desert and expect us to believe that it's Africa and that they're doing something good for Africa. Let's just give it a little bit more thought, okay? Or either that, or stick with drama. The drama works most of the time. This episode it didn't, but it has been working, so the more you make it about the characters and the less you make it about, random countries that Homeland has to save, I think that works better. So yeah, those are my thoughts for the episode. Pretty much it. So as usual, be sure to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have tons of reviews. We have reviews for Scorpion, but we also have reviews for other TV shows, for books, for movies, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to visit and take a look around. And also, if you guys want to be notified as soon as possible when a review goes up, then you might want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where reviews go up first. Even before they hit the website, they're up on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe so you can be notified straight away when we upload something new. And that's it from me now. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye!